Okay, this is my 3D print project for the weekend. We kept getting the wrong mail in our mailbox, so we went out to the hardware store and we bought some numbers to stick on it, and the numbers did not stay stuck. The numbers fell right off again. So that did not work. So then my thought on Friday was, hey, why don't I 3D print a placard for the numbers that would fit in this space on my 3D printer right in here. So I measured it and I looked at some of the other placards in the neighborhood and I figured out, hey, I could maybe do this, but my printer hadn't been working for about a month. I knocked it pretty good when I got the last print off, and now whenever I print, nothing comes out. So I had to look at that. Now I do use Claude at work, so I got a home version of Claude, pay the monthly rate on it, and what I did was I came up with a prompt that I could type into Claude, and I had installed the MCP server that works with Blender 3D, which is what I use to make objects. I fed in an image to Claude to tell it to make it look kind of like this address plaque. Gave it the dimensions in inches on the mailbox and some instructions, and I had to keep going back and forth and revising the instructions and looking what it made in Blender 3D. But eventually it did go ahead and make the object. And so here's the final result in Blender, and you can see it got the I put a border around it, and then I put these two little side things for magnets and a bar that goes through the middle to hold the numbers to the frame. And you can see the thickness, and you can see that in here I told it to make pockets for magnets so I could stick it to the side of the mailbox. Now the mailbox is plastic, so I'll have to drill into it a little bit and set the magnets in it, but that way I can pull these plates off and swap them out if I want to. And then I put this into the software to slice it for the 3D printer, and I had a file ready to go. Now I have an Elegoo Mars 4 3D resin printer, so it's not one of those typical printers that print from a spool of filament. This takes a plate and dips it down into a vat of what they call goo, which is resin, and it touches the bottom plate and a light shines up from the bottom, which is ultraviolet. It's the same wavelength as the sun, and it hardens just a little bit of the plastic each time, and you can see on the screen what it's working on right now. It pops up and it flashes up what it's gonna do on the next layer. So layer by layer it builds it up, and then the plate pulls up just a tiny bit each time. And my problem was that the plate kept coming up with nothing on it. So the print was not sticking to the plate. So I did find a Facebook users group, and I did ask them what's going on, what might be wrong. And they said there's in the menu system, which I didn't see before, there's a clean function. And so they said go ahead and hit the clean function with resin still in the tank, and it will harden an entire flat level surface the size of the print area. And so then I did that, and I saw the address label stuck on the bottom. So then I peeled that off, and I used the filters and a funnel, and I filtered the goo back into the bottle, and then I poured it back in to here after it was cleaned, and then I started the print again, and it worked. I was able to get my print out again. So that was pretty cool. This print just ended. So it does a few beeps to let you know that it's done. So this is the second plate. Let's see, I'll grab the top off so you can see what it looks like. There's an air filter on the left there, the white air filter. There's a screw on the back that lifts the plate up and down. Here's the plate that it prints on. There's the vat of goo, and you can see it's still dripping down into there. And on the plate, I don't know if you'll be able to see it real well, but the actual print, hopefully, would be stuck to the plate. Yeah, you can kind of see it a little bit there. So then my next step is to lift this up, tell it from the menu, you can manually tell it to raise the plate up, and I'll put on my rubber gloves because you need a face mask and rubber gloves to work with these chemicals. They're not safe to breathe for any length of time. And then I can scrape it off and put it in this detergent. This is like a vat of detergent I have. And you wash it back and forth in the detergent, rinse it off, and then you put it in the sunlight to cure. The sunlight will make it hard because of that wavelength. Now this is the final product of the first one I printed out yesterday. And it's sitting in the sunlight to cure, so it'll harden up. And you can see that's the 1027. It's got the line through it to hold the numbers to the frame. It's got the holes in either side, so I could insert magnets. I haven't ordered those yet, but I can put magnets in it to stick it to the mailbox. And that would be the project. So, thanks. Okay, so here it is. I've printed out one placard for each side of the mailbox. So you can see those are sitting there out in the sunlight drying. And I'll just grab one of these now and just walk it around front and see if it fits on the side of the mailbox. And here's what the placard's going to look like on the side of the mailbox. You can see it fits in the space on the side there. And once I order the magnets from Amazon, I could put those on the mailbox and then put them in this placard and see if everything holds together.